What's going on, everybody? Today's guest, he's opened over 30 restaurants, got new ones popping up all the time. Big in Scottsdale, Arizona. You know him as Chef Joey Maggiore, coming up next.
Oh my God!
I'm Chef Joey Maggiore. You smell this? I've opened over 30 restaurants.
Oh my life!
But what I'm really good at
All this money!
is flipping restaurants.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Burndown. Today's guest is our first culinary guest, world-famous chef, as you might know him. Very popular in Scottsdale, the Sicilian butcher, Hash Kitchen, and that man is no other than Joey Maggiore. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Welcome. I'm glad I'm on.
Brother, we've been trying to get you on for a while now. It's been almost a year. My bachelor party was last August.
It's crazy, man. I'm opening restaurants and cooking. You guys got the life. I'm going to switch it over.
Hey, man, cigars and eating go hand in hand, so I'm okay with that.
I love it.
So it's been, we're trying to connect how we actually got connected. It took me a while, I think, to put one and one together. So for the people who are listening and watching, I went to Scottsdale for my bachelor party. So my brothers said, all right, we're going to go to this spot, Hash, and this is the first spot we get back when we land. I said, okay. So, you know, we're all on Instagram posting about it, this and that. And then I get home and then I know I'm talking to you and we're just like casually chatting, I love cigars, this and that. And you're like, hey, I want to send you stuff. And I'm like, all right. And I'm not thinking anything of it. And then I get the mugs, I get the t-shirts, and I'm like, how did I get this? I'm like, how did I get this? And then epiphany, I was like, oh shit, Joey is the owner of Hash Kitchen. That would make sense.
It's funny, but my good friend that I smoke with, Mike Affronti, he's from Brooklyn. He watches you guys. And so that's how the connection was. I saw it one day and I saw the video with you drinking out of the mug. And I go, no way. I said, this fucking guy's got a Hash mug on? And I said, so that's how it connected.
Oh, yeah. No. So he followed me on Instagram and I guess he showed you.
He showed me, and then I started following you guys, and I'm like, all right, I love it.
Oh, I love how that works.
What a small world, man.
Right?
Like,
very small. Oh.
So I know you've been super busy opening restaurants left and right, but, we do have the Brunch Life Hash Kitchen mugs. So we got the coffee ready.
I'm going to start pouring that out when we get this thing rolling here because I got a mug with no coffee, so I don't know what to do with myself, okay?
Are you going to be smoking? Probably not. It looks like you're in your restaurant.
No, I'm at an event. Right after this, we're working on an event. I got 100 people, a bunch of Italians coming in to do some Italian chamber event tonight, so I'm over here tonight.
Oh, wow.
I'll smoke when I get home, and I'll think of you guys.
Perfect. Yeah, shoot us a picture. Make sure you're smoking something good. But yeah, I saw last week you had like some like Mexican restaurant, like wrestling festival going on.
Yeah, I opened a new restaurant called the Mexicano in Scottsdale, and we had Cinco de Mayo, of course. We brought in the Lucha Libre wrestlers from Mexico. We did a big 3-day event. We go big out here. What are you going to do?
I love it.
You have Nacho Libre there?
Yeah, we had them all out. We had everybody here.
So why we get our cigar cut and light? Let me ask you the first question that people who are listening and watching who don't know Joey Maggiore, who is Joey Maggiore? Let's hear it.
Come on, Chef Joey Maggiore, baby. Gold chain chef of Arizona, originally from New York. I was born in Rockland County, Suffern.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Then the family was in the Bronx, Brooklyn, Arthur Avenue, all over the place. But they started going into Jersey, and my dad decided he was moving to Arizona. And so 1979, I think, he decided to bring us out here in December. It was snowing over there. We came here, it was sunny, and never looked back.
Wow. So you moved to Arizona in what, the late 70s, early 80s?
Late 70s. I went to California for about 19 years and opened restaurants, but, majority of my life in Arizona.
That's crazy, man. So probably going from Brooklyn, upstate New York, to nice sunny Scottsdale, probably a big change for New Yorkers.
It's nice. We miss New York, friends and family, obviously, but, it's nice out here.
Do you ever go to New York at all? You have family still here?
Yeah, pre-COVID, they all live upstate still in Suffern, Rockland. They before COVID, we were coming out every year, but now, with COVID, we got to get out. Now I got to go to Italy and do other stuff, but we'll get there soon.
All right, yeah, I'm not too far away from you. I mean, I'm originally from Long Island. That's where we shoot our podcast.
Oh, nice.
Justin's from Long Island, but I live in Westchester now, so I'm only like 20 minutes away from the Tappan Zee Bridge. We still call it the Tap.
Oh, nice.
The Tap, yeah, it's still the. You know what's funny is that you mentioned that is I was driving every time I drive upstate because my fiance and I want to move upstate, and so we're driving up there. You know, we're visiting all this stuff, and even on the GPS, it still says Tappan Zee Bridge.
All right.
Yeah.
It's always gonna be
I take a screenshot every time. I'm like, it's always going to be the fucking Tappan Zee.
never.
It'll never be the Cuomo Bridge. It's always the tap.
Always
okay?
the tap, baby. You got to show respect.
You have to. What are you guys smoking? So now, obviously, I can't smoke right now. I'm at work. But what do you guys smoke?
So right now I'm smoking the Drew Estate Undercrown Sun Grown.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually funny because I didn't even think of this. I'm smoking the Ashton VSG, which is the Virgin Sun Grown.
Hey, a lot of sun growns over there. It's
this
only
is-
right. Sunny state of Arizona.
This is the Churchill size.
Nice.
But yeah, so tell us, we're going to obviously dive into cigars. But before we get into cigars, because we always talk about cigars, let's talk about how you got into, becoming a chef. Like, where did it all start? Was it way back then with grandma's sauce or gravy, however you call it? I don't know.
That's a great question.
That's always the question, right? So we might start with that one. Do you call it sauce or gravy?
Well, it depends what day of the week it is. On Sunday, we make gravy. During the week, we make sauce.
Oh, I love it.
We make the sugo on Sunday. Yeah.
That's it. The
No, I got
sugo.
in. My father was a master chef. He passed a year ago, but he was a master chef. Came from Sicily. Started cooking it all through New York, and then decided to open his first pizza place. He opened it. It was called Patricia's Pizza, and it was in Suffern. And he had that for a while, and then it went from pizza to fine dining Italian because he was a trained Italian chef. And we came here. He opened his first restaurant here called Tomaso's. Still open to this day. So as a little boy, normal kids play with cars and little basketballs and shit. I was playing with knives, cutting tomatoes at the restaurant. So I didn't have a choice.
Yeah, I mean, your father is a legend in Scottsdale in the culinary world, correct?
Yeah, he did a lot for this town. He says he taught Geronimo how to eat spaghetti out here. He started, and when he came here, it was just there was all cowboys and one Italian. Now it's a culinary scene that's exciting. So he did a lot for it.
Wow.
So he started with one restaurant, and then obviously, you took all. How many restaurants do you have total now?
Right now we have, well, if you count Hash, which I just sold 51%, I own 49 to a bigger restaurant group, but I have 17 restaurants. My father opened 23 restaurants in his career. My wife and myself have opened 43 so far in our career. So we open them, sell them, keep them, whatever you're going to do. But we're going a little different way now.
Yeah, because I was watching a little thing about you, and you were saying, hey, listen, I'm Joey Maggiore, opened over 30 restaurants. I'm good at creating restaurants, but I'm really good at flipping restaurants. So what does that mean? What talk about a little about that?
That was for a show we did with Food Network. It's so we flip restaurants. A lot of times, like second gen, we call them restaurants. Restaurants go out in your neighborhood or good places, and they just sit empty. So we take them, we go in and flip them, or we help owners that are really struggling. They can't do it anymore. They want a partnership. They want someone to come in. So we go in and we flip the concept. We take it from a Chinese to Italian to sushi, whatever it's going to be. We take it and we flip them, make it fun. And usually we sell them within a year. So we do it just for a business flip. Like you would flip homes, we flip restaurants.
I like.
So you're like the John Taffer of the restaurant business, right? Where he flips bars and makes them better. You flip restaurants.
I like that.
That's it.
And how long were you doing that? How long was that on the Food Network for?
Well, it was funny because we filmed it right before COVID, so it's still sitting there. It hasn't gone anywhere yet.
Oh.
So we're hoping that they launch it. But we did another show prior to that, 2010, called Family Style. We were opening a restaurant in California, and we did like a family cooking show that did one season. So it's fun, but I like to do the business side of it, man. Like flipping it for money, having fun, making dough, and cooking. That's the fun.
At the end of the day, it's all about making dough, okay? Money makes the world go around. As much as some people, they don't want to admit it, it's the damn truth. So,
look, we all do it. I love the restaurant business, but without money, it'd be in a little second place love,
Yeah, exactly. You always got to make money, right?
That's it.
So what is it like growing up? So what was it about? I guess being around your father, but what was it that intrigued you about, cooking, the culinary world, wanting to own a business, restaurants and stuff like that? Like, where did you get that passion from?
Yeah, I mean, the passion was when he would create a dish and they'd bring it to a customer and the customer saw it and their eyes lit up and they tasted it and they couldn't wait to see my dad or tell him, God, that was the best pasta I had, or it reminds me of my childhood. I mean, that's what the chefs, that's why we do it, creating something that's memorable for you guys to say, wow, you made that restaurant, made this pasta. I mean, you guys could all remember something from somewhere. But, you know, I do foods now. I do stuff that as a childhood, like I have a restaurant called Sicilian Butcher and Sicilian Baker. We do all the pastries, all the cookies, all the stuff the way my nonna used to make it or my wife's family used to make it. And so, like, when you bring that back, you get people coming in from New York, Chicago. They come, they go, God, we haven't seen these in 40, 50 years. My grandma used to make it. I mean, that's all the hard work. You know, for that reason right there alone, it's exciting, you know?
Man of the people. Man of the people.
So what's your favorite dish to make? Like, it could be a dish, you know, you created yourself or a dish that you've been making for years, a dish that your nonna made. Like, what's one of your favorite dishes? You know,
it's a staple. I do velo sobuco, and it's because it's one of those things that my dad used to do. You know, you braise it for 3 or 4 hours with aromatic herbs and vegetables, red wine. It's just rich demi sauce, and the meat falls apart. It looks sexy, and it's one of those dishes that when it comes out of the kitchen, the bone's standing up tall, looks sexy, and everyone's like, "Wow!" So as a little boy, I always saw him do that on Fridays and Saturdays. It was like, God, when I get older, I'm going to make that at the restaurants. You know, I'm going to do that. So it's one of those dishes that I think I perfected, but it's a fun dish.
Now, is that your favorite meal to eat, or is that different now?
No, the favorite meal to eat is pasta, man. I'm simple. Pasta picchio pacchio, we call it. Fresh chopped tomato, garlic, butter, basil, extra virgin olive oil, fresh made pasta. To me, simplicity is the best when you eat.
A simple man.
Yeah,
simple man.
My wife's so my wife's all Italian. Her whole family's Italian. So her favorite meal is garlic and oil. She'll cook garlic and oil.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
With fresh grated cheese on top.
Nothing better.
Oh, some chili, some Calabrian.
I used to do that when I was younger with my dad. We used to watch Bob Ross, the painter, and then there was another show, and I can't remember the guy's name, but my dad used to just make the pasta with, you know, garlic and oil or like butter and cheese, and that was it. Just simple. But I love lots of cheese. I always put lots of cheese, and then when you get to the bottom where all the oil sits and the cheese collects, and if you get a little piece of bread and you just, oh my God,
it's the best.
It is the best.
Man. You can't be
terrible for you, but you're not eating that if you're trying to be healthy.
It's good.
Okay,
It's good for you.
Come on, man. You got to indulge every once in a while. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's so good. It's like it's the butter and oil with the bread. As soon as you sit down, it's like Sebastian. I gotta have bread within 5 seconds of sitting down at the table.
Yeah,
I gotta have a piece. I don't know what to do with my hands. I need something.
I mean, as you know, Italians, they overindulge with food. You know, if if 2 people eating, they're cooking for a family of 5, and you know,
that's it.
Every time I go over to my mother-in-law's house or even my wife, she just cooks so much more food than we need. I'm like, I can't even eat this. And they're like, Eric doesn't even eat, her sisters, Eric doesn't even eat anything. I'm like, I just ate a chicken cutlet, a bowl of pasta, and then garlic bread. Now you want me to have X, Y, and Z? I can't eat anymore.
Come on, manja, come on.
Oh my God.
But that's the way. You know why? Because we break bread and all our memories are surrounded by a table. So the more food you had, the longer you're at the table, you know?
For sure. That's a great way of looking at it. And that's what I always say. So listen, we got a meal on the table. It doesn't matter if we're eating or not. We're all here at this moment.
It's funny because it's kind of like what you do with cigars, right? Like, you know, at times you break bread, everybody's at the table, you're conversing, you're having a good time. It's like, all right, keep eating. The more you eat, the more you're having a good conversation. You do that at the cigar lounge. You have a cigar, right? Come on, have another one. Come on, let's light. You want another one? All right, light another one. So, you know, you got another hour of conversation. You know what I'm saying? So it's
I was pumped up to hear that you're a huge cigar guy. I think you said one of your favorite cigars are Fuente, right? Are you like Opus X, if I remember correctly?
I like Opus X. I like a lot of. I like it. I mean, right now, you know what? Right now, I'm doing the Plasencia. It's a pretty good cigar.
Hell yeah.
I switch around a lot. I mean, I got a big collection. I got a huge humidor in my house. I probably got about 7,000-8,000 cigars. I'm crazy. I buy a lot. It's crazy because I used to smoke one a night, and now it's like one a week just because we're so busy. Always something going on. To get home, I'm tired. And usually I can't have it any other time before bed because otherwise I'm toast the rest of the day.
No doubt.
So, but my neighbor, good guy, Mike, he smokes cigars every night. So he's a bad influence. He calls me every night. I'm like, all right, let me see what time I'm getting off. I'll come over.
So what, do you remember the first cigar you ever had?
It's going to sound weird, but I think it was a Cohiba. I think it was, what was it? A bike or what do they call it?
A Bahique.
A Bahique, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that was my first cigar, and it made me sit down.
Wow.
I was like, damn, I like this. I like cigars.
So he went
I thought
big.
I was some cool kid, just puffing as fast as I could. My head, I was holding onto the seat going, what's going on in me? But then, after that, you start smoking, you start really enjoying the flavors of what the cigar's meant for, and I got into it.
Yeah, it's like, being a chef, It's the same thing with cigars. It's you have a master blender who's a chef, but instead of having salt, pepper, garlic, onions, he's got Dominican, Nicaraguan. He's got maybe a Corojo or Creole. Like he's got all these different leaves, and he's got to make something that you're going to enjoy. It's a work of art, just like a plate that you're making. It's we had a previous guest that we had, owner of J London Cigars, John Fiant. He said that it was consumable art, and I feel like what you do is exactly that because
same thing.
It's an art form that somebody can eat, right?
Yeah,
I love it.
That's awesome. I like that consumable art.
Yeah, I told him. I said, "Listen, you said it on the podcast, but I'm taking it from now on. Like, I'll give you credit, but that's the difference.
We're taking it sold
because when you think about it, there's only a few things on the planet that, or a few people that do that, right? You have chefs, you have master rollers and blenders, and then you have I guess you'd call them the wineries, the vineyards. Yeah. And those are kind of the three. Okay, maybe breweries. Those are like the four things that you really with liquor. Let's call it alcohol, food, and then tobacco. Like the three areas where it's an art form that you're creating something that you can consume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what is it like? I keep referring to my wife. Her favorite thing's food. So Food Network, it's always on. Chopped. All the crazy food shows. But you see all these crazy chefs. In your opinion, what makes you a successful chef?
It's funny because years ago, as a chef, I would have said money. Oh, you're packed. You're making money. You're successful. Now I think it's what the guest perception of what you cooked. Right? Is it better to be known as, oh, that chef's got a lot of dough, or that chef makes amazing food? So there's a lot of chefs in town that we know that great TV guys, but maybe they can't cook. And then some of them can actually cook. You're like, damn, that guy's a very good, talented chef, like Thomas Keller, right? The guy's not only is he blown out everywhere. Sorry, my phone's going crazy. Blown out everywhere, but he's an amazing, amazing chef. So he's known for food first. And so I'd like to be known for food first. Like you go to any one of my restaurants, food is amazing. Oh, then he's a crazy fun guy. The restaurant's hot, it's sexy, it's sick, but his food is money. Yeah,
you want to be known for what you're passionate about,
and what your trade is. Of course,
then the personality and the fun comes after.
And I feel like one will bring the other, but it's not the reverse. Like if you make a great plate of food, eventually people are going to want it. People are going to talk about it. People are going to come. You're going to make the money, but if you have a lot of money, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have a good plate of food.
Yeah, for sure.
That's right. You could just be a busy restaurant, right location, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I should have asked all my buddies and my brothers and all the food that we ordered from Hash. I wish I could have told you what we had. I know it was good. We all left first of all, we walked in with 12 bags of luggage. So
because we couldn't go to the house because we landed early and we couldn't check into the house until 4. So we're like, what do we do?
What day of the week did you guys come in?
Thursday afternoon.
Oh, so we didn't even have the DJ going.
No,
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's nuts.
No, it was still. It was like Thursday at 2:00. It was still packed.
I'm shocked that we even got a table because we had 12 guys.
Yeah, we had a huge.
Funny.
But they had the host was like, "Yeah, we'll put all your bags behind the desk here," and it was like mounds. I was like, "Jeez." But it was good. I mean, it was delicious.
I don't even remember. I don't remember what we.
And I will admit a sin. I'm glad you sent me mugs, but I'm a fan of glasses and mugs, so I might have took this from the restaurant.
Good. Why do you think there's advertisement on it?
100%.
You know what's funny? It's funny you mention that because there's a restaurant in New York City called Tao, and they have a bunch of other ones.
They got them in Vegas.
Yeah, they got them all over the place. So my brother from another mother works at Lavo, which is a sister restaurant, but he was telling me that at Tao they have these little chopstick holders where it's just a little paper figurine that you put on the table, and when you're done with your chopsticks, you can lay your chopsticks on it so they don't touch the table. If you take it right on the bottom, if you flip it over, it says "stolen from Tao."
Oh, really?
Printed on the bottom because they know that everybody takes them, so they printed it on the bottom, and it's like a thing you're supposed to take it. They make millions of them. You're supposed to take because they know
that's genius. So with the Mexican concept, I did custom plates, and they got skulls, like all this stuff, and people are literally walking out with the plates. And I'm gonna put that on them now. The next batch is gonna have that. So
that's a good.
Boy, no, I stole it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, where do you find that a lot? Do you find cups and mugs and stuff get taken from the restaurant? How do you keep track of all that stuff?
You know, it's funny. Back in the day, they used to charge the employees 2% breakage fee, and that would cover all this stuff. You can't legally do that anymore. But you know, between breakage and theft and what's going out, you know, we order monthly. You know, forks, knives, spoons, glassware. Like we create now cool stuff. Like the newest glass at Sicilian Butcher is the statue of David Ed, and it's got a gold chain and it says the name of the restaurant, Butcher. But like, you know, they cost us $13 a glass, and so now we're inventorying because we know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, they broke. They're going to go out the door. But see, if I put something like that in it, then it's fun. You know, I gotta do something like that.
I mean, if you put like stolen from hash, I mean, people might second think like if you put it right, they're like, oh, maybe I won't take that.
You put it like on the bottom so that people don't know, and then when they have a mug and they go to take a drink and somebody's looking at it like, oh shit, it's a stolen from hash.
That's great.
It's a good idea because I mean, like I said, I love beer glasses. So like if I'm at a bar or a restaurant and they have a cool beer glass, I'm like. I used to tell when I was young, I'd be like, Mom, put this in your pocketbook. Now I'm like, let me put it on the floor. I'm going to put it in my pocket. I'm going to walk
put the napkin over it. But you know, it's funny. I used to own a brewery-style restaurant in California. And the glassware usually at those places are donated or given in. Because like you have the delirium glass and all the different glasses. So we didn't care who took them. We're like, whatever. You know, take them home. They usually have the information about the beer on them, you know.
Now, what was the name of your first restaurant that you opened up?
My first restaurant was called Joey's California Bistro in Coronado, California. I was 20 years old. I couldn't even be on the liquor license. And it taught me the hard knocks of the restaurant business. And my dad was super successful. And I thought it was all easy. And you opened up and it was fun. Working 7 days a week, morning, noon, and night. I was engaged at the time. And then I got married quick so she can come help me. But it was, it was an interesting time to really learn the business when you're on your own.
Yeah. What was that experience like being 20 years old and just being like in the real world? And you're like, all right, here's my first restaurant. Let's see how it goes. Like, what was that experience like?
You know, I think that it's just the immaturities, right? Like, oh, I'm the big boss. You know, I own a restaurant. I'm this, I'm that. And at the end of the day, you know, I used to say, oh, this money came in, the cash I would take. And be like, I'm making so much money. Oh, wait, you got to pay bills at the end of the month with all this money? I don't know what I did with it.
Taxes? What's that?
What's taxes? And it was a seasonal. I don't know if you're familiar with Coronado. It's very seasonal. Summers are packed, winters are dead. And so, you know, you have to save your dough in the summer to make it through winter. And the first season went by, and as I called my dad, I'm like, I think I'm going to need some money for payroll. He's like, what'd you do with all the money for summer? I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know. It's somewhere. I think it's parked in my driveway.
And, you know, you learn that way. And then you just learn, you know, how to treat your employees, how to keep culture, how to make better food. And there's so many different things that go along with just opening a restaurant, you know, treating your guests the right way, making sure people are at the table, you know, instead of taking them for granted of being in your restaurant.
So it sounds like culture is a big deal to you. So, because I can only imagine just from your Instagram and just being at your own restaurants, it sounds like the culture is unreal. So
I just followed you, by the way. I realized that I wasn't following. I was gonna send him a message like, "Hey, you can log back in," and then I was like, "Oh shit, I wasn't following him."
Give him the follow.
Yeah, I'm an asshole. It's okay.
Thank you.
But like I always say, like when you run a business or you have a business, you know, it's not you that makes the business own. It's the people run. The people within are the ones that are the lifeblood. So I'm assuming that culture, you know, employment is through the roof because you want to treat your people right.
Yeah, you know, we're focusing heavily on that right now because, you know, I can't be at every table. I can't make every dish. So the servers, the bartenders, everyone has to pretend that they're the owners of the restaurant. You know, there's so much competition out there. They can go to any restaurant. You know, what makes them come here? What makes them stay here? And it's the love of the employees and making it feel like home. So we try to make our employees feel like it's at home. You know, we try to make them feel like, look, it's not jail. You can talk and have a good time. You can enjoy coming to work. You know, if you go to work and like, God, I got to go there again today. You know, it's a bad thing. I mean, we have our rough days, right? We have our moments, but you know, for the most part, it's good culture.
Yeah, I mean, you don't I know today is today's day and age. It's all about the culture and making everyone feel good about it, but it plays an important part. Like, you don't want someone waking up and being like, oh, fuck, I got to go do this. You're going to be like, oh, shit, I'm going to go I'm going to work. I'm going to party, have a good time with my customers. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make them feel good. Because my brother worked in the restaurant industry for a little, you know, quite some time. He was at an Italian restaurant in Long Island, and he had a full-time job, but he couldn't leave like the grind. Like, he loved the cash every single weekend. He just loved being like, he's a big personality, so he loved making people feel good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I said, hey, you know, I'm getting this, you know, I'm getting this world famous chef on, Chef Maggiore. He goes, "Oh, you got to ask him. You got to ask him if there's any what do you call it, back of the house stories." Is that it?
I mean, there's a lot of back. How deep you guys want to go? I mean, there's a lot. Look, in a kitchen is bad. I mean, we've had the two craziest stories is when I was a young chef. I thought that my shit didn't stink and what I made was the best. And I remember these guys, I stand on the line on Expo after prepping all day. And if they didn't create a dish the way I wanted, I'd Gordon Ramsay their ass and I'd be crazy in the kitchen, right? Well, one day this guy starts talking back to me. So I throw a dish. He throws a dish back. So what happens in about 10 minutes is no food's coming out of the kitchen, right? We're having a food fight in the kitchen. We're going at each other. And then the other times is, just messing around in the kitchen. I saw a guy, we're in the back, we're talking, loosely having fun. Dude sliced off his finger right on the slicer. We're talking, just went right off. And then when you see those kinds of things that go on in kitchens, you're like, all right, let's take a little bit more serious, slow it down a little bit. Let's not be Gordon Ramsay, and it's good for TV, but it's not realistic for the staff. And make sure people don't get hurt.
So the guy sliced his whole finger off.
We were cutting eggplant really thick on the slicers, and it was him and me. We had two slices, and we were going fast, and we were being smart asses with each other. And all of a sudden, I looked down, and every heartbeat, I saw blood going.
Oh.
And I go, "Oh my god!" And it's, we turned it to his arm, but it's, things like that happen. You start realizing, all right, let's take a little more serious.
Oh. Wow. That reminds me of it. When I was growing up, I worked in a pizzeria. That was like my high school job, right? I did everything in a pizzeria. I was making the pizza. I started as a delivery guy. It's funny. You start as a delivery guy and you work your way up, right? You're not quite ready to be behind the counter yet. Yeah. And then once you're behind the counter, then you're not quite ready to get the register. And then if you finally made it to you can make the pizza, you're like big dog, right? You're the big dick in the kitchen. Yeah. But it reminds me of a guy in the back, and all these guys in the back were from South America, all different regions. Yeah. And one guy was cutting it, and they were illegal. So he couldn't, you can't go to the hospital. The guy's illegal. Yeah. So he cuts part of his tip of his finger off, right? And I go back there, and I see him. He has 5 or 6 napkins just on with tape, duct taped around it, 2 gloves on it, and he goes back to work and he starts cutting. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He goes, where am I supposed to go? Yeah. So I can't go to
Where's he going to go? How's he going to pay his bills?
He's like, I got to work.
That was it.
He's like, I got money to make. I can't go anywhere. For a month. That's it. He goes, I just freaking rub some dirt on it, duct tape it. I go, you're an animal, dude. Animal.
Yeah, it's a beast.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean?
You got to do what you got to do.
I do have a friend who he's an inspiring chef. I haven't told him that we're going to have you on, but I wanted to enlighten him to come with knowledge. So if you have someone who's inspiring to be a chef or a restaurant owner, what's some pieces of advice you give out?
Yeah, so I went to culinary school out of high school. I was the youngest guy. They wasn't even 18 yet. They was just turned 18 maybe. And my dad fought me. He's like, don't forget culinary school. You come learn in the kitchen, you know more than they learn. So I went to culinary school. Long story short, I should have just went into kitchens. You learn a lot more, right? Unless you're going into a hotel or cruise ships or different things. I mean, culinary school, is a good thing for certain career paths. But for any aspiring chef, I'd say go to the restaurant you like or the cuisine you like. Go work with them. Go in and just go in the kitchen, talk to the chef. Like, yo, can I do a week in here? Can I stage with you? Can I learn, see if I really like the business? Because cooking at home and cooking for 200 or 300 people, whatever it is you're doing, is completely different. And, once you like it, then decide, okay, is culinary school right for me? Do I get on with a good restaurant group like the Maggiore Group? Come over, we need you. And, train you into that, what you want to be. But the problem with a lot of chefs is they want to be a well-rounded chef. So they have to stay, at one restaurant 6 months. Then they go to another guy for a year and they move around. And it's hard for the first 4 or 5 years as being a chef because you're not making real money yet because you're not able to move up to the ladder because you're trying to gain all that experience, right? But we have guys, I have guys that work for me that no schooling whatsoever. They can't read. I mean, they're just bad, right? The best guys, I would go to war for these guys. On a Sunday, when you're doing 2,500 people, that's the dude you want next to you. Not the guy that knows all the proper stuff from culinary school. So I'd say for an aspiring chef, go out and see if you really like it and get into it because we need more chefs in this world.
Yeah, because that's kind of, I mentioned, we talk about this on the podcast every once in a while about, going to school and college. And I bring up the point that college is great for certain career paths, like you said, right? If you want to go on a cruise ship or you want to you have to go to culinary school. Or if you want to be an engineer, you got to go to school. You want to be a doctor, a lawyer, but there's certain other ways that you can learn way more by just going into a business and learning it from the, because at 4 years, or it could be 8 years if you're a doctor, that could be time spent in certain areas. Again, that could be time spent learning hands-on, and then you don't come out with all this student loan debt, right? Like, for instance, hospitality. Hospitality is a perfect one.
It's got to go to trade school. It's got to go for what your trade is, because overall, if you want to be a chef, you go learn how to be a chef. You want to be an attorney, go be an attorney. Like, wasting all this time, like you're saying, does what? Does this waste money? Loans.
Exactly. And like the biggest one is hospitality, right? Like, you can go to school. You don't need to go to a 4-year school to learn hospitality. Yeah, go work in a hotel and learn hospitality. Work your way up the ranks. My
uncle went to University of Las Vegas for hospitality, hotel management. And he's like, why the fuck did I get this degree? Now he owns his own, senior citizen living company down in Florida. But forever, my dad was like, you going to school to work for a hotel? He's like, what are you gonna do? You can just work at a hotel. Why you got to go to college for that?
And you can learn all the ins and outs from the current owner and the current manager, and they can teach you, like, listen, this is hands-on. Let me tell you how to. I know this is what they say in a textbook. Don't listen to that bullshit. This is how it really works.
Come on, it's like life, right? The guy in the street's always going to be smarter than the guy in the book. I mean, let's be real. Like, if you learn your trade and you're in the restaurant, you're going to know better than the guy reading about it.
It's like they say, those who can't do, teach.
That's
right?
It.
The ones who really can do it are the ones that have learned how to do it, right? But the ones who can't do it, they wind up going into the book so that they can teach people how to do it.
So I wanted to, before we get into the cigars, I wanted to ask you, so the Sicilian Butcher, the Hash Kitchen, where did you get these concepts from? Like, where do you get the inspiration for driving good culture, having these crazy names? Is it just because there's not a lot of Italian spots in Arizona? What's the deal?
Yeah, I don't know. What's funny is, like, I lay in bed and I don't sleep, and I just try to create concepts. Like, what's the next big thing, or what did I like about that restaurant that I can do better? And I think that's just what goes on. And I always try to stay above the curve. Big social media. How do we be better than the next guy? And every brand I do, it's like built around social media, Instagram, wow factor foods, and creative, crazy ways. So as we started doing that with Hash, it played into Sicilian Butcher and now Mexicano and future brands.
Well, and it's called the Maggiore Group, right? Like your network of restaurants.
Maggiore Group.
Got it.
Yeah.
And how many restaurants are underneath the Maggiore Group?
Right now we have the Hash Kitchen. So I have 5 locations, and they're going on 9 more right now. So we're going to do a lot of those across the country. And then we have the Sicilian Butcher, Sicilian Baker, which I have 3 of those of each. And then the Mexicano, just 1. We're opening 2 and 3 now.
So when are we going to get the Joey footprint in New York?
I would love to, man. That's a dream. Let's see what happens.
It's probably tough, and especially now.
And I can imagine that the real estate is
real estate isn't the friendliest part.
I was going to say isn't the cheapest in New York City.
Have you looked in New York before?
What's that?
Have you looked in New York, like opening up in New York before?
You know what? No, because to look at it didn't make sense if we're not going to do it. But what everyone tells me, forget it. Like, I wouldn't. I'm sure the other areas like Manhattan, this would be tough to do a restaurant. We had a guy, my dad knew this guy, Tony May, just passed, but he had great restaurants throughout New York, and his rents were psycho. I wouldn't even touch that.
Yeah. And when you think about it, too, is competition. Let's be honest. Italian cuisine in New York, there's one on every fucking corner in Manhattan.
Every corner. And they're all good. The sick part is they're all good.
Yeah. They're all good. So it's like, I mean, I feel like you open up an Italian restaurant, it's like, all right, it's just another Italian restaurant.
Yeah, exactly.
You blend in with everybody.
Now, are your kids following your footsteps? Are you trying to guide them? Or are you kind of let them do their own thing?
Yeah, they want to. So my older daughter's 21. She wants to be a psychologist, and she wants to fix her dad, I think. And then my son is 19. He wanted to be a soccer star, got injured. So now he's trying to figure out life. He wants to be in the business, but I want him to do other stuff, because the restaurant business it's tough business. And then my little girl's 16, and she just wants to enjoy life right now. But they all say they want to get into the restaurant business. They're brought into it. They love it, but they also see how hard we work. We're 7 days a week all the time. And there's a lot of easier ways to making money. If you don't have the passion and love for it, I don't want to see them getting this way. My son, I think, will eventually come into this and take over. I'm not sure about my daughters yet.
Would that be like a dream of yours to work side by side with your son, like you and your father?
Oh, it would be a dream with all three of the kids. I mean, that's amazing, right? And and my dad, that was his dream, and we didn't have a choice, but it was his dream that he was making reality. So me and my sister were in there, but it's rewarding when you see the right place successful and the world's right and everything's going good. But this business is a beast if it goes the other way, So it's tough.
Could you see them having their own, like each one of them having their own, what's the word, like their own theme, right? Like you said, your son was a soccer player, got injured, and then he still, obviously loves soccer. He could have a restaurant that's kind of catered towards soccer, right? He's got a lot of soccer stuff.
Football Maggiore.
You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean? That's it. No, that kid, he wants to open a club and just hang out with the ladies. I know. My son doesn't care about the soccer anymore.
Sounds about right.
It's funny because my older daughter and my son, let's open a club. Why don't you open a club for us, Papa? Let's do a club. And then the little one's like, well, I'll run them all. She tells me, I'll take over what you have. Like, she's smart. The other ones want to go have fun. She's like, no, I take over where you started.
That's the smart thinking for sure.
She's like, I'm going to let all you guys open them up, and I'll just manage them all. How about that?
That's it.
Yeah, because it's true. I mean, the restaurant industry is, I think, the most cutthroat, competitive industry there is. I think there's some crazy stat about how many failed restaurants open up every year. And my family, we had a gourmet hot dog restaurant in Long Island. So we started out with a trailer. We had 30 different toppings you could put on a hot dog. And we had all this crazy stuff. We did that for about 5 years, and then we opened up a restaurant. And then me and my uncle and my dad were open till like 2:00 in the morning, like trying to figure this stuff out. And it was a dog eat world. Like where
Pun
we
intended.
Yeah, literally. And where we were, it was very competitive. It was like New York City away from New York City, and it was tough. So we only opened for about 5 years, but we got.
Yeah, that's tough.
My mom did have a spot on TV, so I guess it counts for something.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, it's the toughest industry for sure. So
it's tough.
I give you kudos for all the successes and accolades that you have accumulated.
Thank you.
So let's get into some of the cigar questions, right? We are a cigar podcast, so let's get into some of the cigar questions.
Yeah, baby.
So you said your first cigar was the Cohiba Bahique, which is a hell of a cigar.
I think that's
very intense.
Yeah, I think that's the most expensive and best first cigar from anyone that we ever asked.
And it probably, like you said, it knocked you on your ass because you're just sucking this down like a newbie, and you're like, holy shit.
It knocked me on my ass, and I had no idea what it was. I was like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know.
Hey, look at me. Yeah. I'm this guy. Because that's how I did. When I smoked cigars, I just like the way it looked. I like the mafia guys. I was like, yeah, look at me. I don't know what I'm doing. What am I smoking? A $2 gas station cigar?
You just puff, taking a puff like every 5 seconds, then you stand up, you're like,
oh, God.
So what got you into cigars? Like, that was your first one, but would somebody just hand them to you? Like, how'd you get into cigars?
Yeah. I was always, we do an Italian party every year in Phoenix. And after the party, it's all guys flying from all over the country. They do this thing's about 100 guys, but they would always bring cigars. So afterwards, everyone would smoke. I was always too little and never smoked. When I got of age, I started smoking. That was when I had that freaking Cohiba. But then I was like, oh, it's cool. Because then you're hanging out with everyone, you're talking. It's a social aspect, right? So I was like, socially, I don't really like the cigar yet, I don't think. But socially, I love it. And then it became to where you do it enough. Now I start loving it. And I don't care where I am to have one, So it's funny how it brings you into that.
So you said, you're a collector of cigars. If you have 7,000, 8,000 cigars, you got to be a collector. So what's some of the cigars in your humidor that are like the unicorn cigars that you're kind of holding on to or that you cherished?
Yeah, I mean, I just got those Davidoffs. What are they called? Not the Toro. Is it Toro? The gold ones. They're amazing. I waited for like a year and a half. I can't remember the name. I got to get you the name.
Is it the Puro de Oro?
Yeah, Puro de Oro. Those are the ones.
Those are hard.
Those are hard to get.
And so listen, I haven't even smoked it yet. They're sitting in there. It's funny because I buy a lot of the Opus, all the Fuente. I buy all this stuff, and I got a guy that's the Cubans for me, so I stack them up. But the ones that I get all the time are the culinary Chef's Edition Davidoff. I don't know if you guys have tried those.
Oh,
yet.
That's one of my favorites.
Super great cigar. So since 2016, or was it I think 16 was the first one. 18 when Thomas Keller had them, and so now I buy them every year. I probably got 3 cases of each in there, and those are my go-to like fun event, nice cigar, and because it brings me to food, to a cigar, right?
Yeah.
Small little Opus X. That's not a bad cigar either to smoke. So
do you like pairing cigars with food?
So I got into that a long time, years ago. And then I started more doing with the cocktails, right? So now my thing is I do a Negroni with it. You know, I got away from the bourbon, the scotch, the cognacs. Now I'm into like mixed cocktails. This is aperitif. It's bitter. It's got great flavor. It's very botanical. It goes well with the cigar. So I've been doing those with the Plasencia lately, which it pairs pretty nice. But it depends where I'm at. You know, it depends what we're doing. And Sundays, grilling some sausage outside with a cigar. You know, I mean, it tastes good too.
Yeah, because there was a restaurant in New Jersey, right across the river, Inglewood, New Jersey, called Sophia's, where it's regular restaurant up top, but then in the basement they have this little lounge that you go down the basement. You walk through this long hallway, and a door opens up, and it's a little lounge. But you can have dinner and smoke cigars there, and it's one of the few restaurants, you know, up here in the Northeast that you can do that. But when I went, you have your appetizer cigar, right? So I'm eating, I'm having my calamari, I'm having the bread, I'm having a little, a mild to medium cigar, and then finish that one. Now I got the steak, and then I have a glass of wine, and it's the saltiness and the butteriness of the steak goes well with the wine, and then you have the cigar, and it was just, what an experience to be able to sit down and smoke a cigar. And again, it's like, I like the feeling of having a cigar in my hand, smoking a cigar, and being able to eat, and you're drinking the wine, you're conversing with people. It's just, it was a really cool experience.
Two of the most socially popular things, cigar smoking and eating. There's none better. And then you add drinking in there.
Nothing better. You know, there's hotels in town, one here called the Sanctuary in Phoenix, and they do a cigar dinner twice a year. And it's the same thing. You know, you have your appetizer cigar, your mid cigar, and then your final dessert cigar. It's fun. I haven't made one of them yet, but they sell them out. It's crazy.
Do you do cigar events at your restaurants?
No, it's really tough to it because we're big restaurants, and with the cigars are hard because even with this private space that we have, the smell doesn't go away, right? So if you do several parties, you know, people all frown upon it now. You got to be careful with what smells you have.
No, it's all about the ventilation when it comes to that.
That's it.
Now, do you have like anyone that you enjoy smoking cigars with? Is it like an uncle, one of your best friends? And who do you got?
Yeah, my very good friend is one of my best friends. His name is Mike Affronte, the guy from Brooklyn. I was telling you guys, he lives here now. He smokes every night, and so my collection's now entering to him because he smokes every night. He doesn't need to buy cigars anymore. But it's funny, he's a cigar family. His two boys smoke, and their wives smoke, so they're all hanging out. Everyone's always smoking. So every night he's outside. You know, he's the guy we go smoking with a lot.
So if there was somebody, we like to ask this question because it really makes people think. If there was somebody, anybody in the world, dead or alive, that you could smoke a cigar with, who would it be and why?
My father, Tomaso. You know, he's not here with us anymore. The reason why is his stories were remarkable. You know, cigars is something where you can sit back and you can enjoy it, but hearing the stories of the old country and how he got here, and you know, that to me is more important than anything else. So it would be him.
Was he a big cigar smoker?
No, a cigarette smoker. That's what got him. So it's funny. He would tell me, "Why you smoke cigars? It's going to kill you." And I'm like, "You smoked 2 packs today of cigarettes. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, I'm sure the stories from your father, from coming over from over the pond,
from the old country,
probably amazing.
Amazing. You know, those stories are gone, right? Now he's gone. You know, it's my turn to teach them to the kids and keep that legacy going.
100%.
Yeah, now 100%. It's your turn. Now you tell your stories.
That's it.
To the kids so that they can then tell their stories. And
I can only tell them about half some of my stories, you know.
Yeah, you gotta wait. Especially for your 16-year-old, you gotta wait a couple of years so you can tell the stories on that one.
Yeah, your 19-year-old's probably like, tell me everything with all the women. I want to know all.
Tell me now. What do I gotta do?
All right. And with your wife, she's a pretty big, she's probably your biggest partner from what I read and watched. Like, you guys do everything together, concepts, ideas. She's like right there with you.
Yeah. She actually runs the entire office. So she's the CFO. She handles all the finances, everything. She does the hard work. I do the fun. But it's me and her. She does the decorating and design of the new concepts that we do. But we're together 24/7. We work together. I try to get her into cigars. You know, every once in a while, I started getting some flavored little sticks, but she's like, "What is wrong with you?" So she'll sit outside and have a drink while I smoke.
So she handles all the finances. So do you ever get a slap on the wrist when you're buying thousands of cigars?
I hide them now when they get delivered. I tell my lady there, it's okay, when the box comes, put it in the garage. But she's like, "You're nuts, you're crazy." But yeah.
That happened with I just got another humidor. I understand new humidor because it didn't replace the old one, but it was the New Air, the 1500 count, big fridge one, right?
Yeah. Fidget one. Yeah.
So I had a smaller one. I had the 500 count one, and then that's completely filled up, obviously. So I got this other one because we have our cigar coming out, and I was like, I'm running out of room. So I get this big thing, and it comes in this big box on a pallet, and it's out in the front. And my fiance, she's like, "What is that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a humidor." She's like, "But you have one already." I said, "Yeah, but this one's bigger." She goes, "But you don't need them." I said, "No, you always need more." She said, "You have too many. You have enough cigars." I go, "No, you can never have enough cigars."
Never.
You never have enough cigars. It's funny. So my humidor, I had the small little humidor, and then I was building a restaurant, and next to the restaurant was an old cigar shop or vape place or whatever they were selling in there, and he had one of those huge wall humidors, and he had two of them in the back of his truck. And I'm standing outside. The guy's like, I said, "What are you doing? You leaving?" He's like, "Well, I'm going to sell these today." I sell them. How much you want? He wanted like $500 a piece. So I was like, "All right, I'll take one." I took one. I sent it to my wood guy. He refinished it. Looks like it was made for the house. This huge thing.
500.
I should have bought both of them if I would have known better.
$500.
Nothing. And then I bought all the new equipment inside, but the humidor equipment. But it's a beautiful piece. Yeah, it's one of those huge cabinets.
Those are like $5,000. Those
I know, nuts. It's amazing. I'll send you guys a picture.
That's a steal right there. You guys send me that guy's information so I can buy one of those. Call him up like, "Hey, I know a guy. You told me that you selling these. Can I?"
Yeah,
in the back of your truck.
You might need a lock soon, because if your son starts getting into cigars, I've heard many stories of the sons kind of just peeking into the cigar cap. "Hey, where'd my Fuente go? Where'd my Padron go?"
And that's what they do. I tell him and his friends are going to come take the cheap. They're going to take the expensive ones. But it's funny. It has a lock, and I put some TSA locks on it. So like luggage locks. And he's like, "Why do you have those?" I'm like, "What do you mean, why do I have those?"
Yeah, there you go.
Friends are going to steal the wrong cigar.
You got to tell people whenever they see the cabinet humidor and they say, "Where'd you get that?" They fell off a truck.
Yeah, they do.
Fell off a truck.
Yeah, I know a guy.
I got a guy.
Yeah,
Everyone got a guy.
Stolen. They fell off a truck.
So, I mean, to go back to Arizona, I mean, I love Arizona. So I was in Scottsdale for the first time over summer, and I wanted my wife went shortly after. She went to Hash, so I told her, and she's like, "Oh my God, I love that place. You got to tell them I went. I got this, and this." I'm like, "I can't remember everything that you ordered." But Scottsdale is like, I think it's a very underrated place because you don't hear about Scottsdale too often. I mean, I think now you do, but when I was my brothers were booking my bachelor party. After I went, like 4 or 5 other people went to Scottsdale, and it just started blowing up. I mean, what's the attraction over in Scottsdale? Because it's only getting more popular, I feel like.
Yeah. It's crazy. It used to be inexpensive, fun place, always sun, golfing, resorts, a great place. Now it's becoming expensive. Half of California is moving here. So they're changing the landscape. But it really turned into an awesome place. And we've been back here 9 years. So I got here right before this next hike. And, you can get a beautiful home for inexpensive, great place. Taxes are good. It's all climbing now with the world, but it's an awesome place to live, man. The problem is June through August, you got to be able to leave. You have to leave for at least a weekend, a month, or a week. I try to leave as much as possible, but 120, and they tell you, it's a dry heat. I don't care what kind of heat it is. Your eyeballs are on fire.
Don't matter.
Yeah, and the kitchens are like 400 degrees. It's brutal.
That was like when we went for his bachelor party, right? We were hanging out the one night, everybody's boozing up and they're out until 3:00 in the morning. And I'm sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, I said, "Man, we got to golf tomorrow, guys. Like, I don't, you can't blow your load the first night because we're golfing tomorrow and it's going to be 100+. And everybody's like, nah, we're going to rally. We woke up that next morning. We went golfing. It was like, we golfed at noon too. So like high noon. Yeah. It was like 105. And you could see everybody's just dogging it. Just they could barely stand up.
It was hot.
It was hot. Like you said, I don't care. It's dry. Oh, it's dry. I don't give a shit.
No,
okay?
I think for me, I was like, listen, it's 90 degrees, but this is Arizona 90 degrees. In New York, you're like walking through the freaking humidity. You're like, ugh. Yeah. So I think there is a little bit of a difference between like dry heat and New York Northeast humidity, because I'll take 90 degrees dry heat all day.
The problem with the dry heat
90 degrees, I agree with you.
Yeah.
After 105,
oh yeah,
no. So have you because we were talking about how Scottsdale is kind of up and coming and a lot of people from California are leaving to go to Scottsdale. I noticed that a lot of people in California are also going over to Texas, to Austin, Texas. A lot of people are moving to Austin. Do you have any restaurants? Or you think about opening any restaurants in Texas?
Believe it or not, we're doing 6, but we're doing them in Dallas, Austin, and San Antonio right now. One in Houston. The Hash brand is going first. We're opening them all over there. Texas is a great market for restaurants. I love it. So that's one we're going into.
Wow. I think Austin will probably be your biggest bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Because all I heard, because Austin, all I hear is it's a young town, technology town.
Just like Scottsdale. A lot of people are going there. Big groups are going there. So if you open up a Hash there, because I go down, my fiance is from Austin, Texas, so we go down, a few times a year. So if there's one opening up there, gotta take her.
We're opening up by the Domain. I don't know if you're familiar with that area. It's a big mall, but it's Austin's unbelievable. We site toured there about 4 or 5 months ago, and I was like, "Damn, this is a cool place to live."
Yeah, it's only getting bigger.
So is it like Is it like a franchise? Are you franchising them or?
No. I partnered with a big restaurant group called the Savory Fund, and they have 250 restaurants. And basically, what they do is they take smaller groups like me, and they'll take a brand. They bought 51%, and then they go launch them. And the thought is to get to 30, 40 units, and then sell it to the big guy. And that's where the last bite is. Yeah,
that's where all the cash comes from. That's what the deal is.
That's when the big bucks start rolling in.
Now, I heard that I watched something. Are you getting a Netflix special, or are you on Netflix? I heard something in the wind there.
No. We were working on that show with Food Network. There was some noise that it was going to go to they were going to end up selling it and go to Netflix, but right now it's still sitting with the network. So we'll see what happens.
You could sell it. I mean, God, there's Netflix, there's Hulu, there's Amazon Prime, there's HBO Max. I mean, shit,
it's all going to that.
Yeah, you can sell it to any one of those.
So you think it's going to be released eventually?
It's hard because Food Network bought it and produced it. So they took us out. They hired another company. They basically produced it. So it was a Food Network show. So they sit on it. So it's their decision now if they're going to either go. They'll end up selling it if they don't use it. It's just when and how long. Right?
Yeah.
So the whole season is filmed, is ready to go. I saw it. I'm like, God, this has got to get released. It's awesome. But it just sits there now. So we'll see what happens. So I'm pushing it.
So how is it like being recorded 24/7? Like besides, like obviously you work in your regular everyday life, and now you got a camera. Like, what's the difference in life then? Listen,
I'm Italian. I'm fucking New York guy. I like cameras on me. Come on, I'm always in this show. No, I mean, it doesn't bother me because it's what I do. If I couldn't be an actor, right? Go out and just read a script and be that person. That's not who I am. But if it's about what I do every day, it's easy to talk about. It's easy to be who you are, right? It's about cooking, flipping restaurants. And I do that every day. So the cameras don't bug me. I like it.
Oh, well, you're definitely man for the camera. I mean, I watched a couple of videos on YouTube, and I was like, this man is made for the camera.
Yeah, like you say, you're not putting on a facade. You're being you. So it's like, we do the same thing here on the podcast. It's people, they talk to us and they say, listen, we watch you guys because you're genuine. You bring the authenticity. The way you guys are off camera is the same way you are on camera. So, and that's why people ask us, I go, it's really no different, except we're doing the same thing we're doing, having a conversation over a cigar, except the mics are on and the camera's on. That's it. There's no.
Yeah, it's funny when you do your shit with about cigar smokers and your wife and this and that. We laugh our ass off when we watch. It's funny.
Oh, we filmed some good ones earlier today. Because we sit here, when we have an hour, we go through 5 or 6 of them each.
Yeah.
And we just put them out. And they're just, it's just fun to do. Some of them are fun. Stupid. Some of them
but they're relatable, which is fun. There's people like when you get it, you're like, oh shit, that's the truth.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. It's just about being relatable because, there's not too many like relatable, funny cigar things out there. No. So when people watch it, they're like, that's my wife. That's what I go through. That's me.
The funniest one is where you were walking out. You're like, oh yeah, my wife thinks when I walk in a cigar bar, all the women are die. I almost spit out my coffee. I was like, no way. I tried to get it to my wife. She's like, you're nuts.
Oh, dude, it's fun. And we're like, when we record these things, we're like, man, this is so stupid. Like, if anyone saw the things that we do to make these dumb videos, like people are like, what are you doing? But that's the world we live in now.
That's the game.
Do it for the gram.
It's the same thing. We like the camera just to promote the podcast because if we didn't have the podcast, we wouldn't be doing these videos here. But
yeah, it's fun and keep it going. I think you guys are onto something.
I love it, man. So we're I don't know. I wanna go back to Arizona. That's all I keep saying. I just keep
anytime, man. You guys come back now. I cook for you next time. You'll have a blast.
Yeah, well, I'll have to definitely get in contact when we reach out to you because
absolutely.
my wife has been there. I've been there, but we have not been there together. And I'm like, listen, we need to go somewhere warm where it's consistent, but it's not crazy.
Yeah.
She's like, let's go to Scottsdale. I said, perfect. Let's
Gotta
go
get a
to
little summer, a little house. I wouldn't say summer house because you're not going to go to Scott, but you get a little spring house or something.
That's it. That's all you need. So
That's it.
But so anyway, so we're coming down to the end of the show, and this is where we like to give you the red carpet to promote all of your stuff. You know, what's the next big thing for you? What's the next big thing for your restaurants? Where can people find you? Where can they reach out to you? The red carpet is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thanks for having me on. But Scottsdale, Arizona, we got restaurants all over here. The Maggiore Group, Hash Kitchen, the Sicilian Butcher, the Sicilian Baker, the Mexicano. We got a new rotisserie concept opening up soon. I got a new Italian concept called the Italiano opening up soon. So we're here. We're a concept group here. Anything you need, we'll take care of you. Thank you so much.
love it. Love it. If you want the best finest cuisine in Scottsdale, you know where to find them. And if you don't, reach out to us and we'll tell them. That's it. But Joe, we really appreciate you coming out here. We know you got to attend to your event. So it's been a pleasure finally getting you on and getting to know you.
Thank you so much.
I hope I know you're a big chain guy, so I whipped the chain out a little bit.
I like it. I was gonna say I like it.
I got mine tucked in a little bit.
Because how many chains you got there? You got like 4 or 5 chains?
No, 3. Just 3 today.
Wow. Oh, there's 3 today. 3 today.
Now I know where all the money from your first restaurant went. It's hanging on your neck.
That's it. But at least I still have it though.
Hey, Dad, where'd all the money go from? It's right here. Here it is.
Do you typically wear 3 chains?
Every day.
Every day.
It's funny because my corporation name is called 2 Chains. It's called 2 Chains Corp. Me and my wife Holdings. And I told her, no, we need to amend that. And she goes to 3. I said, no, do 4 because I'm getting the itch for the next one.
There you go.
Wow.
They just keep getting bigger and longer.
Now you got to get bigger.
Now you got to get the rapper 2 Chains in your restaurant, and then you could be 2 Chains with the 2 Chains Corp.
We'll get them.
That's so fun. But Joe, we appreciate you coming on, my friend. And
thank you so much.
We will see you again soon in Scottsdale. And with that being said, chin chin, cheers, salute, my friend.
Thank you, grazie. Thank you so much, guys.
Awesome, brother.
Be good.
Take care.